Hi, my teachers and principals. We have started an exciting journey to explore the gap between teaching and learning. I have been in the field of education for the last nearly 3 decades. I am myself heading a school, a CBSE school. I also deliver guest lectures in various forums. I meet a lot of teachers, parents, students, educators. One question which many are trying to understand, why is that a gap between what is taught and what is learnt? That is why we started this journey of the gap between teaching and the learning. Just to recap for a few minutes what we did last time, in NLP and education, the founders Richard Bandler and John Grinder, we are going to understand presuppositions, how the brain and the mind are working with each other. We are going to see about 13 or 14 presuppositions. Why NLP? We are going to understand. The VAK model, visual, auditory and kinesthetic model, and how that is going to be relevant for teaching. NLP and rapport building, we are going to understand how do we build the relationship between the teacher and the taught. Limiting belief, like I don't like this mathematics subject, I don't like that teacher, right? Because I don't like that teacher, I don't like this subject. However much I try, I am not going to get my rank. That type of a limiting belief. Language pattern, how the linguistic pattern can be used to empower the children. Now I am going to start, what is NLP? I explained to you last time that education or a learning process is not a conveyor belt. What is placed here will be received there. It does not happen that way. Lot of misunderstanding about NLP. Some people say that it is something to do with mesmerism, something to do with the hypnotism. Me and my wife, as early as 1997, we went to US to NLP Comprehensive Colorado to go through the certification program, the practitioner certificate in NLP, morning 9 to evening 9 o'clock for 28 days. That is the type of grounding we got. Ever since we have been going there as a coach. And we are coaching in many of the organizations, educational institutions, and myself I am doing a lot of counseling for not only for learning and teaching but also family counseling, business counseling. NLP has nothing to do with manipulating human behavior. Mesmerism, hypnotism manipulates. You are put in a trance. You don't know what you are doing unless you are told this is what you did. But NLP is very much to do with your conscious mind. We start understanding the $1,000,000 question, why am I doing, what am I doing, and why am I doing the way I am doing it. So there are 3 letters NLP. Whatever I am going to discuss in this series of episodes has a direct application to schools, has direct application to learning, teaching, the way we conduct our classrooms. I suggest that you take notes and I will be giving you exercises. Diligently do those exercises in the classroom. In my personal seminars, we do a lot of exercises. But in a visual media and an online, we have a limitation. But nevertheless, I will give you certain exercises. Neuro means neurons are the brain cells. You have the brain, you have the neurons. This is how a neuron will look like, which trigger any human behavior through our 5 senses. Your eyes, your ears, your nose, your tongue and your feeling, tactile feeling. These are the 5 senses. We talk about Panchendriyas. And the brain is in charge of these 5 senses. If there is one function which is very relevant for the brain, it is to activate these 5 senses. As I mentioned to you, across the human race, there is no difference between one person's brain and another person's brain. Identical, identical, identical. You cannot distinguish from a cross section of the brain whether the brain belongs to an Asian origin person or an American origin person. You cannot. Brain cells. If you want to know how powerful these neurons are, here is some statistics. You know how big these neurons will be? If you take a 50 paisa coin, you can place nearly 25 lakhs, 2.5 million neurons there. That's how small these neurons are. 50 paisa coin, in that you can place 2.5 million neurons. That's how small these neurons are. And here is one statistics, a fact, scientific fact. In each neuron, you can store 1 million information, 2 million information, 20 lakhs. In each neuron, each neuron, you can store 2 million information, facts, bytes of information. I will give an example. The capital of India is Delhi. The capital of Japan is Tokyo. 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. This is number 1, this is number 10, this is A, this is Z. This is a bus, this is a car, this is a tram, this is a cobra, this is a tiger. These are all bytes of information. So 2 million information can be stored in each neuron. And when we are born with 160 crores of neurons. I mentioned to you last time. So if you really want to know the capacity, the memory capacity of a human being, regardless of which race he belongs to, it is 160 crores times 20 lakhs information. That's how the brain, which houses the neuron, is capable of processing this information. So, any human behavior is triggered through 5 senses. I see you, but do I notice? I hear what you are saying, but am I listening? There is a gap between seeing and noticing. There is a gap between delivering and presenting. So the brain is responsible. In a classroom, what is happening? The children are expected to listen, not hear. The children are expected to learn. Learning is a function of listening. So you write down these words: learning versus listening, seeing versus noticing, seeing versus understanding. These are the changes. The brain is not responsible for listening, the brain is responsible for hearing. Let us be very, very clear about it. It's a hardware. Let's say that you have a tape recorder and you record the voice, you can play back. But the tape recorder will not understand anything out of that. You don't have a Japanese tape recorder or a Tamil tape recorder or an English tape recorder. So this is a Tamil tape recorder, it can understand Tamil language. No. The same tape recorder will record every language. A camera captures images. The camera which is in front of me is capturing this. After some time, the camera will not understand what I said. It is just take pictures, video or still. So the brain is a mechanical device. If the brain is not functioning, you cannot see, you cannot hear, you cannot speak, you cannot walk. So if the brain is manipulated either through drugs or an injury, the five senses will not available. Let's say that a person is there in an ICU cerebral coma. He has eyes but he cannot see. The eardrums are there but it cannot register. Everything is there, even for a dead body. Even in a dead body, these things are there. It is something like you strip open a computer, all the parts are available. Whether the computer is working or not, the parts are available. Maybe the parts are defective. So, neuro means the brain and the ability of the brain to control the five senses. If the brain is damaged, if the particular part which is responsible for seeing is affected, you cannot see. That's why in head injuries, depending upon which part of the brain is damaged, that portion of that faculty will be lost. Later on, we are going to discuss about the right brain and the left brain, how during the Second World War, researchers did a lot of research on what happens if the right brain is damaged, what happens when the left brain is damaged. We are going to discuss a lot of things over a period of time. For the time being, I wanted to understand neuro means brain. Linguistic means use of language. If you see the picture I have drawn, a person is communicating and the person is figuring out what he means by that. Only 7% of the communication takes place through words. If words are going to make communication, once you delivered a set of words which represent a sentence, a group of sentences which represents a paragraph, a few paragraphs which represent a chapter, then the lesson is taught. The other parameters like tonality, inflection, voice quality are very, very important to program the mind of a person. The look of a teacher is very important. The voice level of a teacher is very important. The way a teacher talks to the child is very important. So, linguistic is the use of language. I said some time back that one of the purposes of NLP is to improve the rapport between the teacher and the taught. If this equation is not maintained in a healthy way, whatever the teacher teaches, it's not going to register. Now we are going to talk about later on class control. You can control the class by punishment, through reward system, and you can be a very strict disciplinarian, giving them the capital punishment, beating. But do you think learning will take place? It's not going to take place. You know that. So, the use of the words, voice quality, inflection means the feeling attached. Supposing a child comes and tells you, ma'am, there was a small fire accident in my house. Wow, you had a fire accident? Come on, tell me more about it. The same thing. Oh, you had a fire accident. Tell me more about it. Same. Word wise, there is no difference. Come, child, why have you not done the homework? Come, child, why have you not done the homework? Same words. It conveys a different meaning. Your look, the touch, the way you praise a child makes a big difference. So, linguistic is the use of language. So, neuro is to do with the brain, linguistic is to do with the mind. Then let us look at the third word, programming. Programming is taken from the computer science. For every output, you need a specific input. If you want a different output, you need a different input. If you continue to do the same thing, you will continue to get the same thing. If you want a different thing, do a different thing. That's how the mind is programmed. I explained to you some time back that there is an input, there is a process, and there is an output. Don't blame the output. Go check what process, how the input is being processed. Understand, the system is capable of delivering the output. This is a board which is capable of picking the signals from my laptop to deliver it. It took about 15 minutes for me to get this. There was some problem, which means there is perfect, everything is all right here. I have not understood. Same thing happens in the human relationship. So, programming is to do with the computer science. Supposing I go and buy a computer, the computer is as good as a box. A computer is as good as an electronic typewriter. The moment I buy the computer, my software engineer will ask you, what are all the programs you want to load? And before that, he will ask you, what is it you want to do with the computer? Sir, I want to do a lot of cine recording or video recording. Then he will say, you should install these programs, these softwares. If you say, I am going to compose a lot of music, then he will say, these are the software you want. If you say, I am going to type a lot of material, this is what you want. Now, supposing I say, I want to speak in front of my computer and my voice file should be converted into letters, okay, these are the files that you need. So, a system is a hardware, and the system cannot produce anything if the software is not produced. That means each child, each person has their own program, and the program will decide the output. Let me give a simple example. Couple of years ago, I had a student in the 9th standard, 8th or 9th standard. He was very good in javelin throw. First prize always. Always first prize. And today he is a national champion. He is at the national level, competing at the national level. But when he was a student, he was very good in javelin throw, very bad in mathematics. So I had to counsel him. I started talking to him. Come on, tell me what happens when you go to the ground and you hold your javelin in your hand. He will say, sir, I am looking at the target. Then what else you see? I see my aiming at that. Then what else you see? I see at the end of it, it goes and throws, falls there perfectly. What is it you want? I want to get the first prize. How is your mind? I am excited. Okay. Now let us talk about your mathematics. Immediately when I said mathematics, his facial expression changed. Let us visualize that you are in the classroom, a math teacher is about to enter. What do you see? Sir, I feel tense. What else you understand? I know I am not going to learn anything out of this. Okay, the teacher is about to teach. What is your mindset? Now he is going to teach something, now I am not interested. So when at the ground he is excited, mind is excited, he is looking forward to hitting the winner's point, he is very keen on that, but here his mind is different. NLP has certain techniques, processes. I can transfer that mental resource to the mathematics. Make a note of this word, mental resource. I have a resource. I'll give us a simple example. If I have rupee notes, I cannot use it in the United States. I need dollars for that. Similarly, when I go to Europe, I need euros. If I go to Japan, I need the yen. That is a resource. So, in the ground, his resource, that excitement, that curiosity, that fighting mentality, that's very important to learn mathematics also. So, I can transfer the resource and place it here. The ulta is also possible. Transfer this math resource there and even the javelin through he will fail. So it is a fantastic thing. So human mind can be programmed. How it can be programmed and what is the link, what are the presuppositions, wait for a week.
SRMJV is not just a school, it's a one-time experience.
VM Nagar, Tiruvallur.